Well, it was another disappointing finish for the Wisconsin Badgers, 88-86 in overtime. And this one, to me, was more disappointing than some of the other ones. This one was a game Wisconsin had in their grasp. This was one they should have won, one they don't win, and one that's going to impact them. Likely now fall out of the AP Top 25. I'd probably project them to after the way that this past 2 weeks or 3 weeks has gone. And this one's one that's going to be tough to swallow. Let's start with the first half because Wisconsin played well offensively in the first half, shooting 58% from the field. You score 47 points. I really thought the passing was the thing that stood out. Assisted on 14 to 17 of the team's field goals. I mean, you had a lot going for you, in the first half. But defensively, you gave up 43 points, and Iowa only scored inside. It was all inside almost all inside the arc. Second half was all inside the arc, all of their 35 points. And Wisconsin just couldn't get a grasp defensively. There's an issue with this team where they just don't play complementary basketball for some stretches of the game. I thought that was very clear in the second half where, when you're trying to pull away from a team like Iowa, you need to play well, get stops, and have stretches where you're scoring. Wisconsin didn't really have that. And so a lead that went, well in Wisconsin's favor ultimately goes to Iowa. Iowa was leading 69-61 at one point in this game before Wisconsin pulled back in the final minutes. And I mean, there's a lot to take away from this game. Badgers didn't shoot well from the free throw line. I think it was in the 65% range, 58% in the second half. They've got to do better there. Foul trouble was key. And, I mean, there was that goaltending thing, a weird kind of stretch where the goaltending rule ultimately applied to where Stephen Crow probably gets 2 points regardless of the goaltend or not. And so, we could talk about all of those things. But overall, the Badgers in this one, I mean, this is one where they've got to find a way to pull it out. On the defensive side, the Badgers are too good of a team with too many good defensive players to be playing like this. Chucky Hepburn, I mean, he was active all day. He's a plus defender. Max Klesmit's a plus defender. Stephen Crowell, Tyler Wall. Crowell is not necessarily a shot blocker, but he's a good rim protector. And then Wall, Wall's a versatile guy. He can guard almost every position on the court. You've got good defenders all across the court. Store's been adding some energy the last 2 games as well. And yet you're giving up this many points. And really, it's just the efficiency as well, especially inside the arc. Badgers have to figure something out. Owen Freeman had whatever he wanted against Stephen Crowell today. But overall, the team struggled to compete defensively in this one. Wisconsin's got some searching to do because this is a stretch in the season where you don't want to be collapsing like this at the end of games. They haven't been good as good in close games this year. Granted, they haven't played in as many, but you're going to have to figure some things out because right now this team is not on the current, they're not on the right trajectory going into March Madness. I know they were seen as the number 16 seed earlier in the March Madness's first projected bracket. I don't see that happening at the moment this upcoming week. So we'll see what goes on for the Badgers, but this one's going to be a tough one to swallow. I think that you had a lot of good things going in the first half, but then also you struggle in one area of the field, and then the second half you struggle pretty much on both sides of the court, and that ultimately costs you a win here, a one that you should have had, a key one that would have been a nice momentum, a momentum lifter, on the road. Now you got to focus to next week. We'll see what the Badgers can do in rebounding, but 1-5 in their last 6 games. That's not the start not the finish you want going into the stretch run here in February. Stay tuned though for the coverage. We got you covered. A lot of post-game stuff, a lot of stuff previewing the remainder of this upcoming week. Stay tuned on at Buggy's Fifth Quarters.